Hey everyone, welcome back to Data and Donuts. My name is Erin. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Erin Thomas. Today we're going to talk a little bit about competency-based education. But before we get into our conversation today, I would like Professor Thomas to tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, Erin. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me. I've been teaching at the community college level for about 12 years now, and I came to career education from industry. So I worked for a company called Qualcomm for most of my career. I started out as a database administrator, which is why I love talking about data. Went back to school, got my MBA, and that allowed me to work internationally with clients implementing our over-the-air cellular systems. And so I bring all of that experience with me into the classroom.
That's awesome. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, I guess. Maybe not in this interview, but maybe at another time. So, like I said, today we're talking about competency-based education. Can you describe CBE or competency-based education to us?
I can, and I want us to frame it in the context of a direct assessment competency-based education program because that's what we're working on here at Coastline. And the idea here is that CBE, it expedites your completion of a certificate or a degree by academically validating what you already know. So you can start a program, and if there's a subject area that you have personal experience with, because again, the majority of our target market, our students, our learners, are people that are currently working and have many years of experience in the workforce, you can prove that to us through an assessment. And then you can move very quickly through that portion of the degree or certificate program. And then when you get to a topic that maybe you haven't had as much hands-on experience with, for example, if you're a supervisor and you haven't done a lot of interviewing or a lot of budget management, we will walk you through slowly and at your pace that content so that you can become very comfortable with it and master it. So what I love about CBE is that it is a fast track path towards a degree, which many employers look for if they're looking to hire you at a higher level, say a manager level versus a supervisor level, or if they're looking to promote you into a higher paying position. And rather than having you sit through 16 weeks of a course that you really already know the content, let's move quickly. Let's get you that degree as fast as we possibly can while validating all of your inherent knowledge in those subject areas that you know already.
Excellent. And so at Coastline, I know they selected for the first of many programs they plan to do the Associate of Science in Management. Can you explain that a little bit, why we selected that program?
Yes, that was a very purposeful selection. So we took a look at industry data, at labor market data, and we discovered there's a whole category of manager titles out there that require just a 2-year degree. And so we focused on one specific title, but there's probably 5 or 6. And the idea is that this would be an attractive program to people who are currently already working as a supervisor, maybe they're a shift lead, a first line supervisor. And so they have experience managing people, working with people, leading tasks and efforts. But before a company would be comfortable providing them, granting them a title that had the word manager in it, they're going to need to fill in some gaps in their knowledge and skills. And those primarily, we believe, will be in human resources management, so understanding labor laws, because it's something to avoid getting into trouble with those laws when we're doing hiring, firing, promotion, and performance evaluations. And probably they may need some help in the areas of managerial accounting. So how do we read an income statement and make sense of it and make decisions based on that? And how do we leverage the information that we see on a balance sheet to know what to do next in terms of some decisions that we have to make about purchasing, for example. Managers, generally speaking, have to be comfortable with budgeting, have to be comfortable with dealing with personnel issues, need to know how to navigate a process of promoting a person, as well as need to be comfortable navigating the process of dealing with someone on a performance improvement plan, providing that coaching, and making sure that if the ultimate path for that person is an exit from the company, that that's done respectfully and in accordance with the law. The other reason we chose this program is that I feel, as somebody who's come through education as a manager, that academia has done a poor job of preparing managers to have difficult discussions around race, equity, inclusion, diversity, etc. And so we've built into this particular program an intensive focus on raising these discussions, having these discussions in our coursework so that the graduate leaving the program is much more comfortable than, say, some of us were in having discussions around the challenges of racial inequality, anti-racism in the workplace, and are better prepared to take advantage of a diverse workforce, making sure everyone feels included, because we know research has told us that when we can leverage all of that talent, the company performs better financially. Bottom line, it's a financial improvement. So I look forward to preparing people who move through this program to really help their companies perform better by taking advantage of the diversity within their organizations and effectively leveraging that by making everyone feel included, letting all of those voices be heard and all of the decision making up and down the chain of the company, and really broadening the ability for that company to be successful.
Excellent. And I tried to craft this last question a few times over email, and I read both of it, and it was messed up both times. So I'm just going to wordsmith to say, what data points do you think we should start collecting to tell that story? And I know there's an infinite amount, but what are a few key data points you would like to look at in the future?
So I see data points of the individual graduate of the program, and then I see data points as for the company that hires that person or promotes that person. So for the graduate of our program, a key data point for me will be a significant increase in salary. So you already know, you frontline supervisor, you bring a great deal of experience and institutional knowledge to your role. We'll fill in the gaps with that HR knowledge that you may not have had a chance to learn, that accounting knowledge that you may not have been exposed to, so that you can perform at a much higher level as a manager. But I want to see a 10% pay increase. To me, that would be the goal, minimal. And if you can't get that pay increase at your current organization, then you should be able to change companies, because sometimes that's what it takes to get a big pay cut, a pay raise, and get that kind of a pay increase. For companies, to me, this is an opportunity for them to invest in existing frontline supervisor type employees, because if they make that investment by allowing the individual who wishes to obtain an Associate of Science in Management, giving them some flexibility with their assignments at work, potentially supporting them financially as they move through this program, though it should be a fairly low cost program, then the company will reap the benefits of having a significantly higher performing manager that they don't have to take the time to train because it's an existing employee. So let's leverage all of that institutional knowledge that person has, fill in the gaps with the academic knowledge that they need to really perform at a high performing rate as a manager in your organization. So to me, the company metrics would relate to productivity and effectiveness of that person who's got that manager title after completing our program.
So thank you so much. And I do have one bonus question I didn't send you. And that question is, what's your favorite donut? It wouldn't be Data and Donuts without that question.
My favorite donut is a glazed old fashioned.
Excellent, excellent choice. I promise at the end I'll try to aggregate all this data and make a chart out of it. But thank you so much. I think it was really interesting conversation today. Thank you for providing that summary look at CBE and really the opportunities it's going to provide our students. So thank you again, Professor Thomas. We will talk soon, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
Thank you for having me.